try to find ways to move on to next gen as smoothly as we could. I don't know how much time we have left. I think maybe like 5 minutes.
Get to see the full 5 doors? Yeah.
Because you only asked nicely.
Call it a pyro tour. Go with that.
Yeah, our limitation is that, but over time it'll get better.
Just first model.
For the CPU to run those are the newer ones.
Those are the newer ones, right?
So not much bigger than
Yes. I can stop you for a minute. I know. You guys want to... So 454 takes advantage of 4 steps. Basically, we have a group of cloning tech that'll produce our library for us. Our library stock is created from them. What happens is that library stock is then given to us, and in these emulsion hoods, we take that library stock, basically mix it with a bead, a capture bead, a DNA capture bead with random sequencing primers. If the bead finds its complement, it'll bind. And with an amplification mix that we make in this room, you'll make a microreactor out of a cup of oil. So you'll have an oil and water mixture in these plates. So one library will have this emulsion oil. A microreactor is created by sticking it onto this tissueizer. This tissueizer will shake the crap out of it, make little bubbles, and then we'll add our DNA capture beads. Our capture beads will hopefully be taken in by one microreactor. Our goal is 1 fragment per bead per microreactor. Those are placed onto a PCR plate that look like this.
So you have to shear the DNA too, right? Like you did with the hydro shear, or do you look for even smaller
So the
pieces?
nebulizer does that, high pressure nitrogen.
Okay.
We'll do that in the cloning tech group.
So what is the target size for 454?
So target size is 500 bases to 800. Anything smaller won't take advantage of the reagent costs relative to what sample size that we're going to get on the machines. Anything greater than 800, the amplification on the machine won't recognize whether or not there was an A incorporated once, twice, 3, 12 times. We won't know the longer the base is, so we want to minimize that size. A gel is also run to excise that band as well.
And your 454 run reads how long now?
454 we're hoping is around 350 at minimum. But Sanger of course is at 800. When we first got Illuminas it was at like 75 bases. I think that's gone up to 120, 200 now. But we'll accept anything greater than 300. But we start off with 30 million beads or 35 million beads on into each of these oil cups. Hopefully, in the enrichment step, we get something like 5% enrichment, and we'll stop anywhere from 5 to 20%. Anything higher than 20%, we run the risk that we have multiple fragments per bead, and we don't want that, obviously. So we lose a lot of beads. I mean, we're only getting 5% enrichment, so 5 out of 35 million is not very good. I like you guys too much. I really want to give you all this stuff. You guys want to take an Illumina? Okay, so I'll walk you in here. After the emulsion step, there's a breaking step. So we break our microreactor, break up. The breaking is called breaking because with IPA, we're breaking the double bond that exists between the capture bead and our sample. We'll take that linear fragment, that single strand, and we'll enrich that sample, basically excising anything that won't stick to a magnetic bead. Once that enrichment step has taken place and we're within 5 to 20% enrichment, we'll go ahead and load that sample. So we'll load the sample.
The enrichment? Like what tells you how far you've reached in your enrichment?
So once the enrichment takes place where you have your magnetic beads, we adhere your DNA sample to those beads. Anything that doesn't stick to the bead will be washed out. And then we'll add, right, and we use melt solution to further eliminate screening, kind of double stranded there. Also, there's qPCR that's taking place now. We used to use the bioanalyzer to basically quantify how much we were getting to begin with. In addition, the capture bead, she's counting them actually right now. We'll take that enrichment sample and basically look at how many beads we're getting, and we'll look at the percentage relative to the rest of the samples that we got. If that percentage falls within the number of beads for the volume that we've got, then it's loading. If not, then we have to. It's loaded onto this PTP. So recently we started reusing PTPs. You can imagine there's 3 million wells
You're using them?
after sonication.
So you sonicate the bead
We sonicate the plate.
and you're using it.
Yes.
What does Roche say about that?
Roche doesn't know.
No.
Okay, so the PTP is loaded on a BDD,
What's the problem with Roche?
bead deposition
Well,
device.
it's $100 a pop for those plates. So,
Oh no, it's more like 500.
well, yeah, with a discount now.
Yeah,
The plates.
yeah, the plate.
Don't touch it with your hands, huh? You don't have
No,
gloves.
not that. This has been already loaded, that's why. I can show you a new one if you want. Basically, the plate sits, the grooved end sits where it's supposed to, that groove there. An operator will load PPS beads to make sure that any non-incorporated nucleotides that were left from previous runs are taken out. The operator will load their sample beads using one of these nice pipettes that we have here. BioFlow is really nice.
Sorry.
Packing beads are smaller white beads that we wash, basically to pack the DNA bead inside of each of the wells. So the wells contain titanium. Our previous concern was that if we sonicated the PTP plate, that we would lose the titanium and thus the light emitting capabilities and thus detection on the software. But after several experiments, it's shown that we'll lose some quality, but in terms of saving the money for more PTPs being purchased, that we're willing to eat the cost.
Taxpayer appreciate.
I'm sure Roche didn't like that very much.
I haven't told them yet.
So, can you tell me again what did you do there? You reuse some of the plates, or?
So if you want to look at it, I can actually show you. You guys are so curious.
Oh yeah. You're getting 454.
So
See, that's why.
when I'm not washing my jewelry in the sonicator,
Yeah.
I'll take the PTP and basically stick it on these black plastic. These are what reused ones look like.
You're very curious, yeah.
I don't want to grab it. I have
No,
a
it's
few
okay.
gloves. Anyways, you take your plate, you basically place it in there,
Yeah.
and it'll just vibrate, and you can actually see that this was once clear. These are actually beads that are left in the solution. We actually just started this week. Our limitation is 2 uses per PTP, so the runs this week were all started on Monday. When the operators come in on Monday evening, we took out those PTPs from the morning, just chunked those, and then reused ones that were washed. So far, we haven't lost a lot of titanium per well. The runs look pretty good. Apyrase will eat up any excess nucleotides that weren't incorporated. And the software will basically read, if you can look here, it's taking a scan of this PTP. You can notice that this well is heavier white than in other wells, which probably means that it amplified more than 1 T at this particular well. So it says here that there's 820 flows, so this T is 1 flow. It'll go through apyrase flows for the other 20 to eliminate any unincorporated nucleotides. Yeah, and then all of these will tell you how the plate is doing. The camera, charge a couple devices at this temperature, which is good. There's a chiller for the reagents that sit here. I actually have one out, since you guys are curious, I'll show you. So these are my reagents for today's run. It's light sensitive, so I won't leave it out. It's really nice. You have your various nucleotides that are going to flow through. You have bleach to wash off the zipper tubes that suck up the liquid. This is actually an ergonomic tool built at LBL. This actually locks this. An ergonomist came up with this idea. You just loosen these caps, unrelease it. You can tighten them back. Shake up your reagent after you add the bleach here and your apyrase. And then you just release it and you're good to go. Yeah, I think that's
So
it.
do you all have engineers working with you? Who designs these?
So the operators usually are the ones.
That tells you a story. That's a story. 500
Put it in the
for each
newspaper.
plate, huh?
That's right, take some home.
Yeah.